Hey everyone, welcome to 5 Star Guns and Gear, and today we have a really cool video for you. Got a couple really nice offerings from Vector Optics. We're going to introduce you guys to the Veyron line of scopes. This is one of their budget lines. You've noticed in the past we've reviewed their Paragons and their Continental scopes. Awesome, amazing scopes. Those are their top tier scopes. But we want to bring to our viewers some of their budget friendly offerings. That way you can take a look at what they have. And these two are the Veyron line. They're their compact scopes, which have many applications. And we're going to take them out to the range also, show you the performance at the range, talk a little bit about them there, and I'll give you some tech specs in just a minute. I'll actually spin the camera around, give you a little bit more information about these two scopes. What we do have is they sent us the Veyrons. These are their 6 to 24 by 44 offerings. One of them is first focal plane, and they also sent us their latest, which I believe it's this one right here. Yes, is their ultra compact, and it is their second focal plane. So this is their new offering. They've had this one out for a little bit. They originally sent me this one and asked me if I could do a comparison between the two and take a look at them. And so that's what we're going to do today. We're going to take a look at two scopes, not just one. We normally bring y'all one scope at a time. However, we're going to do two because these are in the same family line with Vector Optics. They both are Veyron scopes. They both are the ultra compacts. They both are 30 millimeter tubes. Both are illuminated reticles, so that's pretty cool. The reticles are slightly different in both of these. So Vector Optics went ahead and was kind enough to provide both of these Veyron scopes to me this month to do a review and take a look at. And it's really nice of them to send us the one that is second focal plane, because this is a brand new offering from them. They already had the first focal plane out, and they both are going to be nice to compare these two because they both are 6 to 24 power by 44. They both are the ultra compacts, which is really cool. So I'll tell you a little bit about overall size. We'll get the specs in just a minute. We'll turn the camera around and I'll show you these a little bit closer up, and we'll go in a little bit more depth about the tech specs of this particular scope. So very exciting today. We're gonna get these mounted up on a couple of guns, and we'll take them out to range. We'll do a little range session with them and see how they perform there as well. Also, we'll try to hook it to the trigger cam. Now these, the ocular on these are pretty small compared to what I usually mount the trigger cam to, where y'all can see the optics. So I'm probably gonna have to make a shim to go in there to actually fit the scope. So there may be a little bit of distortion and everything, but that's not gonna be in the scope. The purpose of actually showing y'all that with the trigger cam is not to show you the clarity or anything, because you're not gonna be able to see it with the trigger cam, especially if I use an adapter ring, because it is gonna cause some natural distortion in the camera. This side-by-side comparison is going to give us a great opportunity to show you what they offer in the Veyron lines, especially with these two 6 to 24 power scopes, and explain what may or may not be beneficial for your particular application. So let's go ahead, turn the camera around, take a look, and let's go ahead and get started, guys. Okay, we're going to go over the just a little quick unbox. I'm not going to unbox both of them, but I'm just going to go over the scope, what you get in the box. Then we'll go over the specs, tell you the difference between the two, the similarities between the two. They're extremely similar, except the reticle and one's first and one's second focal plane. That is going to be your biggest difference. So when you open your box, these Veyron scopes, this is what you're going to get. This is under 12 inches. I will go over the full specs in just a minute. We'll actually mount this first focal plane. We're going to mount on this rimfire here. Then the other one we're going to mount to a PCP air rifle, and I'll show you both of those once they're mounted. So when you open the box, you're going to get the scope. Again, this is a 6 to 24 by 44. This one is the first focal plane. The other one's going to be a second focal plane. It does have 6 intensity levels for the illumination. There is 2 different style reticles for these two scopes. The first focal plane, as you can see here, this is the MP RV5 reticle pattern, and which is really nice. And then on this one over here is going to be the MPRB 10 reticle pattern for the secondary focal plane scope. And we'll try to get some footage in the trigger cam of both of those for you. You are going to get a set of rings with these, very nice rings that come with them. Your parallax is from 10 all the way up to infinity. So it is side parallax. You do have locking turrets, very positive clicks, and I'll show you all that again when we get the range. You do have resettable 0 on here, so you can actually use this tool that comes with it, loosen the caps, and turn those and reset this back to 0. So that's handy, and that's available for your windage and elevation as well. It does have a honeycomb sunshade, easily screws on here. Do get a really nice set of flip up scope covers right here. Your diopter adjustment is very smooth. Your magnification adjustment is very smooth. On your intensity levels, on your illumination, you do have a on off between each of the illumination levels. And like I say, it's 6 intensity levels. It does take a CR2032 battery if you want to use illumination. I'll tell you right now, if you never use your illumination, do not put a battery in here. That way you don't ever wind up with the battery that goes bad and corrodes the inside of your battery compartment there. So that's just a tip. If you're going to put something in storage for a long time, I'd recommend actually taking it out as well. So also in the box, you'll wind up getting a patch. You're going to get a token. You're going to get your tool to actually loosen your turret caps, and that way you can actually adjust those back to 0 once you got it zeroed in. And you get a little cleaning cloth with it as well. Pretty nice cleaning cloth, has their QR code on it. Let's go ahead and get these mounted up. I'm going to mount them on both guns, and then we're going to go over the full specs of both of these scopes. Like I say, they're going to be extremely similar, almost identical, except a couple of key features, and we'll go over that. So let's go ahead and go over that next. Then we'll go to the range, and we'll do our range time. Okay, we got both of our scopes here mounted up. Now on this one, you'll see that I have different rings on here. It's just because on this platform, 2 reasons. One, this has a pretty high comb on it, and I need a little bit more adjustability. I do shoot this long range, so I use adjustable rings on this particular PCP air rifle. That's the only reason why I didn't use the ones that were included. There's absolutely nothing wrong with the ones that's included. As you can see, we do have them mounted here. You're just going to have to pick and choose and see if the rings that come with it's going to work with your application. For this particular application, it would have worked. However, I prefer this because when I do shoot out to 100 to 150 yards, typically with this, I need some adjustability, and I get my extra MOAs out of these particular rings. So let's go ahead and go over the specs on both these scopes. They're identical except a couple of key features, and the magnification on both of these scopes are 624 power. They do have a 44 millimeter objective. The ocular lens diameter is 33 millimeters. The ocular lens length is 35 millimeters. These lenses are fully multi-coated. You get a generous 17.5 feet field of view at 100 yards at low magnification. At your 6 power, at your 24, you get 4.3 feet, which is very generous. That's not bad at all. That's a good field of view. It gets everything zoomed in at tight. That way you can see really good what you're shooting at. Has a generous eye relief of approximately 3.5 inches. The overall length of the scope is only 11.7 inches, so this is under 1 foot. This is under 12 inches, or 297 millimeters. Now the weight of these scopes, they only weigh in at 20.5 ounces, so they're super lightweight, super ultra compact, both of these. And when I'm talking about The specs, I'm talking about the specs for both of these. I'll let you know when we get to any differences. The tube diameter on both of these scopes is 30 millimeter. Both of them has a 1/10 click value, and so both of these scopes are in mils. And they have an elevation range of 14.5 mils on the elevation, and as well on the windage they have 14.5 mils of windage range. The parallax adjustment, like I said before on these, is 10 to infinity. This is where things get a little bit different between these two scopes. These scopes do have different reticles in them. The second focal plane does have their MPR V10 series reticle in it. Love that reticle. Now on the first focal plane scope, it is going to have the MPR 5 on it. It does have a version 4 that it's available in, and a version 5 on the second focal plane scope, I believe. And the first focal plane, I don't think it's offered in the V10. You can always check on their website and find out for sure. Both of these are in the black matte finish. Both of them do have illumination, so you do have 6 intensity settings on illumination. Both of these have been shock tested to 750 Gs, so they can handle some pretty significant recoil, so that's going to be really good. Both of them are water resistant, IPX4, so they're both have really good water resistance to them. They're both fully nitrogen purged. That's to help eliminate any fogging in the lenses internally. They do a really good job. Vector does a really good job with that. I've never had a problem with that. As I mentioned earlier, these turrets are locking turrets. I really do like that these are locking turrets, and that's on both the windage and elevation. Now these are made out of extremely high quality 6061 T6 aircraft grade aluminum on both of these scopes. Your focus marks on your parallaxes are going to be 10, 15, 25, 50, 100, 200, and then it's going to go to infinity for you. Now you do have a diopter compensation adjustment and the fast focus eyepiece, and it goes to plus 0.2 to negative 2, so it does have plenty of range for you there. That way you can get your eye dialed into the ocular. And like I mentioned to you before, you do get a set of rings with these. Very nice. You get the sunshade with it as well, and you get a set of flip up caps which are installed on here. As you can see, you also get a cleaning cloth. You get an entire package what you need to get going. We're going to take these to range. I'll show you a little bit of shooting with them. We're going to try to get some good footage with the trigger cam if we can. Bear with me because the size of this diopter is a lot smaller than my trigger cam. The trigger cam is very, very large, and I'm going to have to 3D print a shim to go in here to take up the size difference where that camera will hold on to this. So you may see some hazing or some narrow black ring around it. That's not going to be the scope. That's going to be the trigger cam itself. So I'm going to warn everybody right ahead of time. If you see any hazing or anything like that, it is not the scope. I've taken a look through both of these scopes. Both of them are edge-to-edge clarity. They have really decent glass in them. Very, very happy, especially with the price point. This is a budget line scope. However, it performs above the price point very well. Very, very happy with both of these. So let's go take them to range. Let's do a little bit of shooting. Today we've got 2 scopes, not 1, but 2 that we're going to go over today. What I think these really go really good on is anything you need something lightweight and compact on. So let's say your AR platforms, something similar to that would be great. Rimfires, very appropriate for it, and PCP air rifle. So went ahead and set it up on a rimfire and a PCP air rifle. This first one is different from this one over here. They both are 6 to 24 by 44. However, this is a second focal plane scope and this is a first focal plane scope. And we'll kind of go over the differences. I'll show y'all in the trigger cam. That way y'all can get some scope footage and see how the reticles look and how they function. And we'll do a little shooting today. I just wanted to compare and contrast these 2 scopes. Vector was nice enough to send me both these scopes this month to kind of compare and contrast. The second focal plane scope is a new scope in their line, so y'all go check that out. I have shot with a little bit and I actually do like it. It's going to be great for anything close work. I'd say within probably 200 yards would be great, being a second focal plane scope. I normally have been reviewing the Paragon line, the Continental lines, and their glass is really superior. And I'll tell you right now, yes, the glass is going to be better than your Veyron because this is a more of a budget-friendly scope and everything. However, the glass is really, really good, and the glass quality probably is above what the price tier of the scope is. So in my opinion, it looks really good and very clear and does a really good job for what the price point and everything is. I'm very, very happy and very, very pleased with it. And now looking through the scope cam, you will see some shadowing and stuff on the sides. That is not the scope itself. That is going to be the trigger cam, because you have to use adapters in here to get it to fit the smaller ocular. So there is going to be some black rim and stuff like that that you may see, shadowing and stuff, and that's going to be coming off of this trim ring that I had to adapt on here to make this trigger cam to fit. So don't worry about that. It is good glass edge to edge. Go ahead and take a look at these scopes, and I'll show you the features of the scope real quick, and then we'll do a little bit of shooting, and I'll show you the reticle and the first and second focal plane, how they operate. Let's go ahead, take a closer look, and I'm going to bring you over here and show you this scope and show you the features that it has, and those translate to both scopes, and except this is a second focal plane and this is going to be a first focal plane. So let's get started. So first thing, you can see these are compact scopes, which is really, really nice. You can see the size of my hand. They are not very big, and I'll give you all the size dimensions and everything back at the shop when we give you our final thoughts and everything. Your windage is over here. They do have locking turrets, very, very nice. They do have positive clicks, and you can adjust your focus. Is very smooth. This is a 6-24 power. Show you something else that does come with it. Does come with a honeycomb sunshade on it. If you want to add that, you can take this off easily if you do not want it. If you want it on there, go ahead and put it on. It is a nice addition that it does have this short honeycomb sunshade. This also has illuminator reticle. One nice feature I do like about the Vectors is they have a on-off between each intensity level, and you get 6 intensity levels. They do take CR2032 batteries. One thing I do like about the scope that makes it perfect for air rifles is it does have a parallax all the way down to 10 yards. See if we can get that in the camera. I hope we can. Hopefully it'll focus. But it goes from 10 to infinity. So your steps are going to be 10, 15, 25, 50, 100, 200 yards, and then it will go to infinity. Move over to the first focal plane scope, and it is identical. Now you see the trigger cam setup on here. This is the adapter plate that I was talking about, and that's what's going to be when we film. You will see a black ring. You do not see that in the scope, but you will see it in the trigger cam just because it has this bushing in here to fit on this ocular. Move around here on the first focal plane scope. It is also identical. It does have locking turret, very positive clicks. Windage and elevation is alike. They both have locking turrets. Again, it's illuminated reticle as well. 1 to 6 illumination, and it does have off in between each. The first focal plane also will focus down on your parallax to 10, and it's the same. It's 10, 15, 25, 50, 100, 200, and infinity. It also includes a sunshade. They both also include front and rear caps. And that's pretty much the overview of the scope itself. Okay, we're going to start off with the rimfire first, and I will go ahead and move this out of the way, and we're going to show you on the trigger cam exactly how this reticle looks. This is going to be the first focal plane. Let me go ahead and get this PCP air rifle. This is a Benjamin Aquila in 22 caliber that we put this on. It is moderated, as you can see. It's a pretty good little rifle. It's a pretty good tack driver. This one is actually regulated. Huma Air actually provided us with a regulator for this, and we do have a digital gauge we added to this. Really nice setup. So very good for hunting, and very good for pest control. It's actually excellent for target shooting as well. So we're going to set this aside. You're going to see a lot of this on the channel as well. Okay, let's take a look at this Veyron with the first focal plane scope. Sorry about the noise in the background. We are at an active shooting range. We're going to go ahead and show you exactly how the first focal plane reticles works. I'm going to go ahead and put this on 6 power. Now, if you do see hazing around the edge of the scope, it is because of this adapter ring here. It's not the scope itself. Clarity on the scope is really nice. Now, it's kind of hard to tell in the trigger cam because it is going through multiple lenses to actually record. So that is something that's going to detract from the video. It's not the scope itself. Let's see if we can get it in focus. Okay, and as you can tell, you've got a thin reticle. So as you zoom, that reticle is going to increase in size, and I'll show you on screen how that works. We're going to dial up. Now the scope, looking through this, you do not see that narrowing. That is the trigger cam adapter that I have. As you can see, the crosshair grows on this and gets larger as you increase your magnification. As you decrease your magnification, your crosshair is going to get thinner. So you can kind of see that. So let's go ahead and shoot some rounds down range, and we might do a little silhouette shooting and stuff like that. Have not sighted this in, so we do need to see where we are, if we even are hitting target. So let's see how close we have this sighted in, bore sighted. Okay, going high. Okay, that's at 50 yards right there, and we're going to go back to 75 yards. As you can see, it performs really well. For most shooters, this is going to be a great option for you. If you're looking for a first focal plane compact scope that has 6 to 24 power that you want some magnification on, this is a really good option. It's going to handle all your rim fires. It's going to handle all your air rifles, and it's going to handle quite a few center fires. Especially, this would be excellent and compact. Will go really good on, let's say, an AR platform. Be perfect for that. It's not too big, lightweight, and it has a lot of features like the illuminated reticle, a lot of stuff that is a benefit to the scope. We're going to go ahead and switch to the PCP air rifle, the Benjamin Aquila. We're going to check out the secondary focal plane. I need to go ahead and get this camera switched over there, and I'll see you back, and we'll take a few shots with that as well. Okay, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the Veyron 624 by 44 in the second focal plane. You do have a Christmas tree style reticle in these scopes. Really nice for if you need to use holdover. And it's that easy. The scope performs perfect without any issues. I don't have any issues on this. I think this is absolutely perfect platform for rimfire, PCP, air rifles. Exceptional because it will dial into 10 yards. That's exceptional for air gun especially. As you can see, I stretched this one all the way out to 75 yards, no issues. Works flawless on the rimfire as well. Also, I believe this is going to be perfect, as compact as it is, to go on an AR platform. I think it would be absolutely perfect. You actually use this on 243s, 270s, probably be okay as well. If you wanted something compact for a hunting platform. Certainly smaller calibers, 223s, stuff like that would probably be very good for this as well if you wanted something to go on a hunting rifle. And it probably do quite well. You just got to decide if you want first focal plane or second focal plane. I've got lots of videos about the differences, so y'all go check those out. You'll have to see what really fits your needs and your shooting style. I think either one of these will perform really well for you guys. So y'all go check out the Veyron line of scopes. They are a budget line of scopes, very, very affordable. The glass clarity in them is impressive, very, very impressive. So guys, I hope that y'all got something out of this today. I wanted to compare and contrast the two scopes. They're both Veyron's 6-24 by 44 compact rifle scopes. Again, they're Veyron line, Vector Veyron. The clarity of these optics are really, really good. I'm very, very impressed. For a lightweight, compact budget scope, it's going to be hard to beat in this price point to find a comparable scope, in my opinion. This one has really, really good optics on it. Unfortunately, with the trigger cam, as you can see, I have this adapter ring in here, and when you do that, it kind of obscures some of the objective and everything, and you cannot get a clear picture, unfortunately, in the camera. Also, when you do camera through a lens like this, it's hard to focus on the reticle and your target as well. You're gonna have to focus on one or the other, and it really is tough to focus on both. You can sort of get a good sight picture, but that's not the fault of the scope. That's actually fault of a camera device. The tracking on these turrets are very, very good. I did a box test. Every time I pull these out of a box, I instantly do a box test. If there's an issue, I address it right then. I've never had an issue with the box test on a Vector Optics, luckily. They all perform as they should. Haven't had any issues there. So scopes are both feature rich. Both have illuminated reticles, as I showed you. The big bonus of it is the parallax goes down to 10 yards, which is exceptional, especially for the PCP air rifle shooters. They're going to find this very handy. So if you wanted to use this for just hunting or target practice, either one of these scopes are going to work really, really well. And I really wanted to show y'all the difference. This second focal plane is a new scope in the Veyron line that Vector has out. They wanted me to take a look at both of them and get my opinion on them. And I like them both. They're both very, very high quality. They are excellent for the price point, and they're going to be very hard to beat at that price point. Again, they have very good glass clarity in them. I'm not getting any halo effect when you look directly through the scope. I do get edge-to-edge clarity. The eye box is not quite as forgiving as the Paragon or the Continental, but it is pretty forgiving. It's not too bad. You do need to keep in mind your cheek weld and everything for your eye box, and make sure you have adequate rings in relationship to your cheek weld. So the rings that you get sent may or may not adapt to your rifle and your shooting style, depending on the height of your comb and everything. So keep that in mind. So you may have to swap rings around. Likely you're probably not going to have to. On this one, it's so high up here, I did have to go ahead and add rings that were a little bit taller on this one. But that was just to get a more comfortable eye box and everything. And that was it on that. So everything looks great on this.
I think that overall, it's a good quality optic and everything. It's not a Paragon. It's not a Continental. The price point is not that of those scopes as well. So keep that in mind. But for a budget scope, this is a very, very, very good optic. I'm very, very impressed. I'm happy that they sent these to me. Matter of fact, this scope right here is probably going to stay on this one. I might switch over and put the first focal plane on this one. I don't know yet. I do like second focal planes on my target rifles, and this is more kind of a longer distance rifle. I like to shoot this out to 100 yards sometimes, and the first focal plane might help me a little bit more, so I may swap the one off of the rimfire and put on here. That rimfire, as y'all have seen many videos, has had lots of vector scopes on it, and I swap them around a lot, so it'll get something else, I'm sure, another vector optic on it in the near future. Okay, welcome back to 5-Star Guns and Gear, and we went ahead and came back to the shop. I want to show you these reticles a little bit better. Had a hard time. I did not have the right adapter for this trigger cam. I've got one that's going to work. It's not quite right, but it's going to give y'all a better understanding of what we're looking at. It just wasn't lining up my camera and the optics real good, so this one's doing a little bit better job. So let me show y'all what this is the first focal plane scope version of the Veyron. So let's go ahead and go through this. I'm going to show y'all when I turn on the illuminated. Let's turn on the illuminated reticle. It's going to be kind of hard to see, but I'm going to leave it on. I'm going to turn it off after we get zoomed in. As you can see, it's got a pretty fine crosshair, which is great for precision work. Let's say you're doing target shooting, stuff like that. It's nice to have that fine crosshair. To the eye, your crosshair is a lot more crisp in this reticle. Unfortunately, this camera's trying to focus on the crosshair and it's trying to focus downrange. So you're going to have some distortion in this video, and it's because of this trigger cam. It's not the scope itself. But I want to give you an idea how the first focal plane scope works and how it will grow as you increase your magnification. So let me get this set up, if I can get it in place where I can handle the magnification wheel. If you'll take a look, I'm bumping my trigger cam, sorry guys, so it may get distorted on the edges, but it's because I'm bumping the camera itself. But you're gonna, as you see, as we increase magnification, the reticle grows with it. So your reticle is getting bigger. As you can see really clear, your illuminated reticle comes on. You're gonna be able to turn that off if you just want to turn it off and use it with the regular dot reticle without illuminated. If you need the illumination, just turn it on. You do have 6 intensity settings. So just kind of want to show y'all how much that grows. Sorry, I'm trying to keep from bumping this. As you can see, as I touch this, it's actually changing orientation just because the camera's getting misaligned. But you can see the first focal plane scope, the reticle grows considerably along with the magnification. So that's how that works. I want to show you guys up close how that works. Hopefully you get an idea. Sorry about the halo effect. That has to do with the alignment of this camera, and the adapter plate that I have in here is causing that. So it's not the scope, guys. The scope is clear edge to edge. So you are going to get a narrower, thinner reticle, and it's going to be a bigger reticle picture. It's going to give you the full view of the whole entire Christmas tree pattern. The lower your magnification, the higher the magnification you go, as you can see, that increases and brings that closer basically to your eye, and basically enlarges your entire reticle and focuses on a more narrow portion of that reticle. So that's how the first focal plane works. So they all have their strengths and weaknesses. You got to decide what you want to use for your particular application. We're going to switch this over to the secondary focal plane scope right here. This same scope, 624 by 44 Veyron, as we had at the range, on the same guns, and we'll show you what they look like. Okay, that's much better. Got a little bit better in focus there for you guys. Hopefully y'all can see that. This is the second focal plane version of the Veyron that we're testing. As you can see, it does have the illuminated dot reticle just like this one here, which is really nice. If you don't want to use it, you don't have to use it. So let me show you how the second focal plane works in camera. So right now, we are in full magnification. We're going to zoom out. And if you watch it, the reticle does not change in size. It's going to stay the same throughout the entire magnification range. Unlike this one actually zooms in and gets larger. So they both have their strengths and weaknesses depending on your shooting style and your preferences. I shoot both second focal plane and first focal plane scopes. A lot of times I use a first focal plane if I'm doing extreme long range shooting. I just like it a little bit better. It kind of puts my eye, it makes me feel like everything's coming in closer to me and gives me a little bit better, I would say, I don't want to say precision, but it does narrow my field of view a little bit. However, it makes me focus on that target, and I think I can take a more precise long range shot with it. The good thing about the second focal plane, you get the full ability to use your entire holdovers, where you lose a little bit of your holdovers the more you magnify on first focal plane. You're still going to have some holdovers and everything, but not to the point you're going to have with the second focal plane. Guys, if you're subscribed, thank you very much. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing, hitting that thumbs up, hitting that like. Greatly appreciate it. And as always, God bless. I'll catch you guys on the next episode.